Hey guys, this is Lord Netsu here, and today we are doing with Naruto was Sans reincarnation. And basically, yeah. Oh, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna. And part of this video is gonna be pretty much the background, my version of the background for Undertale. So I can make this more interesting. Basically, we're gonna pretty much start at the very beginning, basically where the first human fell. And we know her as Kara. And yeah, basically Kara basically does still have the hate for the humans, but she basically, yeah, she doesn't die in the normal way. Oh, and there was, and basically, I'm gonna say this: Kara had some type of disease. So yeah, she doesn't die for. She basically doesn't force herself to die. This happens passively. So yeah, Kara's last wish was for Azrael to. Yeah, her last wish to her friend Azrael. Oh, and also, I'm also gonna say this. Sans was pretty much the same age as Kara in this one. And Gaster did fall into the core, like, months after Char died. Yeah, and Char's final wish to, pretty much, Char wished pretty much, yeah, Sans was actually there for this. Actually, no. Basically, Sans always played. Yeah, Sans was played with him. Oh yeah, I'm gonna scratch what I said about Gaster. Gaster falls into his work into the core years later. So yeah, Char asks Sans to never forget her, and for Azrael to bring her back to the surface. Yeah, pretty much. Sans does never forget her. Yes, yeah. She was basically the only human that he trusts the most. Or actually, no. She was the first human he had ever met, so he's gonna trust her completely. And Azrael still did the same thing, but something different. Yeah. And basically, yeah. Insane is half as lazy as he is in the original game. So yeah, he ain't that lazy. So yeah. Oh, and basically, yeah, the player is the one that causes the genocide runs in this. And yeah, every time Char sees her friend, pretty much, Toriel, Flowey, Asgore, and Sans die, she always cries. And she also knows of a partner, so she's just sad for that too. Yeah. Sans, yeah, and yeah. And there's been 200 runs before this happens. And at the 201th route, which is genocide. Basically, Sans is, yeah, this time Sans actually, yeah, Charles just, like, enough, pretty much in her mind is like, enough is enough. Because yeah, she's been pretty much throughout all those genocide runs. She's been trying to find a way to separate herself from Frisk's body. And on the 201 try of doing it, she finally found a way to do it. But she would only have a few seconds before her determination her body would disappear. So before she even did it, actually no, the moment her soul went to the other world, something would happen, but we don't know what. But she and anyone else doesn't know what that does. And after the 100th run, Sam started seeing Chara. Actually saw Chara again. And when the genocide run started, after the first genocide, pretty much before he could die. Wait, actually no. The first time he dies is the first time he actually sees Chara. You can see Charles crying. Yeah, Sans hates seeing her cry. Yeah, then in the second run, pretty much in every genocide run, which is 100, Sans just... and unknown to the player, Sans... basically before first falls down each reset, Sans is figuring out a way to end this cycle. And after once we get to the 201 reset, Sans finally finds it as well. Basically, first Chara finds a way to get away from Frisk's body, and Sans finds a way to get out to break this cycle. And Sans is still was still the previous royal scientist apprentice. So he is smart. And basically, I'm gonna say that Chara, throughout the whole time, Chara was able to bring her pretty much throughout the other 100 routes which were genocide. She was able to, her ghostly form was able to move farther and farther away from Frisk's body. So now basically she can when Frisk's body gets into the underground, basically Chara can go from there all the way up to the door that goes to Snowden. So basically she just wastes no time and goes immediately towards the door and just waits there. Then once Frisk gets to the door, the player, because the player's controlling her, him or her. For Chara, I'm just gonna say that Chara's a her, just for this plot, because it makes sense to me. Chara pretty much goes straight towards Sans house once the player gets to the door, and the player hasn't even paid attention to Chara anymore, because they think that Chara can't do anything, and technically they can't see him. Pretty much only Sans can. And Sans is doing something. And throughout all those routes, pretty much all the genocide routes, he's pretty much been perfecting Alphys' work on the determination. And by the time the player would get to the front of Snowden, he would have it perfected. Like, he could pretty much put it in. Pretty much, he could inject a monster with determination without them melting. Yeah, they would never melt. But this, unintentionally to Sans, this also did another thing. You wouldn't figure out until later on. So yeah, Charlotte would be able to see what Sans is doing. Pretty much and she sees him pretty much perfecting Alpha's work on determination. She like, yeah, she calls him Sans, but she always likes Sans jokes. Yeah, and Charles like, Sans, you're not thinking of, you thinking of that? No, Sans, there must be another way. It's like, yeah, Sans would just be like, it's the only way, Charles. It's the only way. I hate doing this, but I'm gonna have to do it. It's like, yeah, Charles like, let's hope this works. It's like, yes. It's like, and Charles like, yes, Sans. It's like, I know you've been working on a way to get yourself away from the body of risk. And if you got a way to get yourself removed from that body, do it as soon as either the player use the finishing blow or I do the finishing blow. It's like, already Sans. It's like, good. And yeah, Sans actually, in this version of, in this Sans, after the second run, he's like, pretty much like, no. And this time he's like, nah, why the heck not? And he pretty much, at this point, this Sans pretty much teleports. Yeah, pretty much, since this Sans is half as lazy as the original Sans, he would immediately teleport to Undyne and tell her the situation. Pretty much tell her that there's a human that is killing monsters. And he's done this and at Snowden this human has killed 5 monsters. Not the total amount, but only 5. And Undyne would just be on director of him like, what are you standing here for then? What are you doing here then? It's like, I'm come to tell you. He's like, come on. And he would just grab Undyne. Be like, get into your... he would be like, she would be like, I'll be right there. And she would change into her Royal Guard outfit. And Sans would be like, hold on. And then immediately grab her and teleport to Alphys. And Alphys would be like, Sans? And he'd be like, Alphys. It's a code red. And she's like, basically Sans, and Sans, before all the resets even happened, he pretty much, Alphys and Sans made a code red for even if this would happen. So Sans made a code red, which is a human that is killing a mass amount of humans. And Sans never used this in all the other resets. So just human killing monsters, and it's like, you're selfish. Call the king, quick. Then Undyne was like, what about your brother? What about Papyrus? It's like, shit, and then pretty much teleport to Papyrus. And yeah, Papyrus are like, yeah. And yeah, then he'll be like, no time to explain, Papyrus. And then because he's a lot serious right now. And then he teleports Papyrus straight to Undyne and Alphys. Yeah, then when Papyrus got teleported there by Sans, Papyrus would be like, yeah, what's happening? Oh, I'm just gonna say this. Papyrus pretty much also knows of Code Red. And he's less forgiving than he would be in the regular timeline. So yeah, Sans is like, we have a Code Red. And yeah, Papyrus would be like, yeah? And then Sans would be like, Alphys, call the king, now! And yeah, she would call the king. Yeah, then we go to Asgore. He's like, hello? And yeah, then Alphys would be like, Asgore? And Asgore would be like, Alphys, what do you need? And then she'd be like, we have an emergency. And Asgore would be like, what's the situation? It's like, then then Alphys would hear Sans say, hand the phone to me, I'll channel him. And she'd be like, oh, okay. And then she would hand the phone over to Sans, and then he would say, Asgore. And when Asgore hears the seriousness in Sans' voice, he's like, what is the situation, Sans? Yeah, and pretty much, I'm gonna say, but Sans gonna keep, Asgore, Alphys, and Sans know he's pretty much the only two people that know Sans is the royal guard in this is Alphys and Asgore. So yeah, Sans would be like, we have another human. Asgore. Yeah. Asgore would be like, what is it, Sans? Yeah. He'd be like, there's another human. The one that was like that king. Yeah. Asgore would be like, I'll be right there. It's like, please come quickly. We're in the lab right now. Please come quick. Yeah, then Asgore would just be running over there. He would turn off pretty much hang up and toss it back to Alphys. Like, there. The king should be over and be over soon. And yeah. Asgore would be like, where is this human? And Sans would be like, right now they're in Snowden. We need to evacuate every monster now. And then Asgore would be like, then Asgore would be like, Undyne. Evacuate every monster in the underground to the barrier. And then Sans was, then Asgore, Undyne would be like, right. And Sans would be like, he'd be like, Asgore, I need Asgore. It's time for the plan. And then Asgore would be like, which one? It's like, you will find out. Just bring me the souls. Yeah. Then he would bring the souls. And then Sans would teleport straight to where Smiley is. And then it finally was like, Smiling trash bag? And Sans would be like, oh, shut it. then he like, yeah, then, yeah, this is pretty much a cover up for Flowey, and then Sans would be like, stop. Then Sans would just be like, oh come on, Flowey, I know exactly who you are. Yeah. I was like, what do you mean? It's like, oh come on, it's obvious, you're Asriel. You're like, how did you know? It's like, you're the only monster that has died and then had that was over freaking flowers. Yeah. I should go like, what do you need? Sans? It's like, we're going for that plan. Remember what I told you on the 150th run? And then finally be like, that plan was like, yes. We're putting that one into action. And then be like, okay, Sans. And then, yeah, then Sans with, this is gonna get ready. So it's like, what are you gonna do? It's like, this. And then he teleports him and Flowey to the barrier. Yeah, then, yeah, Anscor's there with the souls, and and Sans like, Anscor, it's time. Yeah, then he sees Flowey and goes like, what? Yeah, Sans has told Asgore about Flowey before the reset fully happened. Yeah, then Asgore be like, what is Flowey doing here? It's like, he is part of the plan. Now, give Flowey the souls. And yeah, Sans be like, I cannot. Yeah, be like, you must. Actually, no, scratch that he brought Flowey with him. He didn't even do that. Scratch that whole scene with Flowey. Actually, no, scratch the part where he said to bring the souls. He just told Asgore to, then, okay, basically, we see, now, basically, all the monsters are at the barrier now. Yeah, and then Sans is like, Asgore. Yeah, pretty much like, Asgore, Undyne. Yeah, basically the ones that are going to be fighting is Undyne. Asgore, Papyrus, and Sans. Yeah, then you have like, and Alphys was pretty much watching. Yeah, then and Sans just told him that, Asgore just told Undyne and Papyrus to be at the final corridor. Just went like, Papyrus, Undyne, the final corridor, now. And yeah, pretty much, Undyne and Papyrus would be like, yes, sir! And just pretty much go to the last corridor. And before he could tell Sans to go, Sans would be like, Asgore, I'll be back. And yet, Asgore would be like, what are you doing? It's like, you will find out. Yeah, then he teleports away, back to his lab, to his little lab shack. Yeah, and right now, the player is at Hotland. And remember, all the monsters are at the barrier now. Then Sans grabs his perfected determination. Pretty much grabs the perfected determination and goes to the last corridor. Yeah, and yeah, and Sans has 2 syringes. And pretty much when Asgore, Undyne, and Papyrus see the 2 syringes, pretty much Undyne will be like, Asgore will be like, Sans. Into that, it's like, yes. But it's a little bit different from the other subject, from the other tests. Undyne will just be like, what is that stuff? And Sans will just say, determination. Yeah, she'd be like, and then Sans will be like, well, I guess it's the best of luck for all of you. And he just tossed one to basically Undyne. Yeah, then Undyne goes like, what do you want me to do with that? It's like, wait for my single to use it on yourself. And then Sans injection himself with the determination. And basically, it was enough for him to regain his full power. Yeah, Papyrus was like, Sans, what did you do? I was like, I did something that I needed to do. Now, he pretty much opens his eyes up again, and he has both of them back. And pretty much he has 2 glowing eyes. And it's like, now, let us wait for the human. Yeah, then they get to the last corridor. And yeah, then Sam's just like, so kid, you finally came. Let's see. And yeah, I'm gonna say they got only 5 levels. So yeah, Sam's just like, so, let's see where you're at. This should be easier. Anybody? You ready for a bad time? It is time. Yeah. Basically, Sans is only slightly below this player's determination. Yeah, I'm doing it. And yeah, Sans was like, yeah. Then you like, yeah. Then Sans would just stomp on the ground. It pretty much, yeah. Sans would be the first one to attack, and pretty much he would pretty much stomp the ground. And pretty much Bones would go straight for the player, and the player would dodge and go straight for Sans. Because the player knows that Sans is the most dangerous. Then Undyne and Papyrus get in the way, and pretty much then yeah, Sans, Papyrus, and Undyne just, yeah, pretty much all of them are just doing attack after attack. And somehow the players is just dodging each and every one. Then Sans stops for a second. Then Sans just does the unthinkable. Actually, no, he does something. It's like, Papyrus! Yeah. Papyrus can see what Sans is about to do. It's like, yeah. Papyrus is like, yeah! And then both Sans and Papyrus make the human blue. Like the human soul blue. And yeah, and force them down. And he's like, everybody, hold the human down as long as possible. Yeah, but the player is starting to get up, and Sam's just like, oh no, you don't. And he pretty much summons a Gust of Blaster and launches it at the player, but the player dodges it, and then basically it goes for Papyrus. But Sam's just like, no, and it pretty much goes right in front of Papyrus and gets slashed. Yeah, and he gets, and that's when and Shura sees what happens, and she's like, Sans, and yeah, she remembers what Sans says, like, no, I must do it, and then she immediately does it, and she pretty much, and Sans can see her being almost visible. No one else can see her. But then Sans is like, Undyne, now! And yeah, then Undyne is like, but Sans is like, do it! And yeah, then she injects herself with determination. Yeah, and she can tell that her... Yeah, and she pretty much is like, thank you, Sans. It's like... Yeah, then just yells, Alphys, I know you're listening. If we win this battle, bring it. Get the rest of my determination from my shack. My jacket will have the key. And yeah, the player's like, shh. Because and charges the latch onto Sans. In pretty much, and her ghostly form was holding onto Sans as long as possible. And Sans was like, don't cry, Chara. If this works, the cycle will be over. And we can finally be free. Yeah, and then Sans' soul was still holding on, but was starting to crack. Like, very, very slowly. It seems like, what the heck? Yeah. Charlotte's like, wait, what? This hasn't happened before. And then Sandra's like, wait a minute. Determination. And then he just goes like, sure. Yeah, he sees pretty much in the middle of there's pretty much the determination is pretty much almost overlapping his soul, which pretty much it's almost changing his soul completely red, but it's a little bit like some of it is white still, but most of it is red, and Sharon's determination is actually with her now. After the 200 routes, after the 100 determination, genocide routes, most of her determination has finally come back to her, and Sans can see that most of her determination is back, and he's like, "That's perfect," and he goes like, "Chara," and this is a second before he dies, and Chara pretty much infuses her determination with his, and it pretty much makes an anomaly in the world. Before Sans died, it pretty much created a portal into the unknown, and it kind of looks like, and it was the void. And Sans soul and Char's soul were pretty much pulled into the void, and then we see Gaster just looking into the void. Then Gaster can hear echoes of pretty much cracking echoes. Pretty much an echo of something cracking. And then he looks directly at the location of the cracking, and he sees a soul, a monster soul with mostly red, which he knows is determination. And then he sees sees some of Sans left. And he's like, Sans! Yeah, then he pretty much grabs onto Sans' soul and holds it together as long as possible. And yeah, Sans can still speak, and Sans like, hey Doc. He's like, hey, like, Sans, what's going on? And then Sans shows what's happening. Yeah, and Gaster's like, it's like, yeah, looks like I'm gonna die. The 101th time. Yeah, so Gaster's like, don't talk like that. And yeah, he's trying to pretty much heal his soul. He's like, even if you healed me, now that I'm in the void, I can no longer go back to that world, back to the actual time. That's just like, damn it. I just wish there was a way to save you. Oh, and this is basically a different timeline from basically all the what ifs for now on. Actually, yeah. All the Naruto. Okay, I'm gonna say this now. I'm gonna list the what ifs that are connected to the Omni Saiyan timeline. Well, pretty much universe. In the other Naruto what ifs that I make are different timelines of the Omni Saiyan one. So yeah, basically all the. So for the waves that are connected to the Omni Saiyan universe, well, timeline is with Naruto got the powers of the God of War. What if the Uzumaki had a hidden Gekin Genkai? What if Naruto was a reincarnation of Sans? And for the Shuku Midoriya, or the Deku, what is that? It's connected to this universe. It's. Give me a second. Okay, the ones that are connected to the Naruto what ifs that are Deku what ifs are with Deku had a Dragon Guardian. What if Deku was there with perfect memory and being as smart as Tony Stark, and this is basically gonna be a different version. Basically later on in. Basically, it's also connected to what if Deku had Gaster's powers. And you're gonna see why I say this later on in that what if, but there's in that Deku timeline, basically the Undertale world and that world are combined, and you'll see why I mean that later on in that what if. And yeah, those are all the what ifs that are connected so for now. So yeah, and then Gaster's like, yeah, and Gaster's has seen. It's actually one, and this is gonna be the first time Sans, Char, and Gaster are gonna meet the Great Deity. Yeah, I can't remember what I called the Great Deity, the name of the Great Deity, but yeah, basically I'm just gonna call the Great Deity, the creature, the Great Deity, because yeah, tell me what he's gonna be known as, the Great Deity, and the Great Deity is like basically knows every single. Oh, and I'm just gonna say this. When I said that the great deity is connected to all enemies that are about fighting, I forgot to mention that he's also the creator, and this basically how I'm doing it is basically the great deity is the creator of any in a game, movie, or show that's about fighting or has fighting in it. So yeah, that would technically also counts Undertale. In all the Undertale AUs. So yeah. And then a great deity, a portal starts opening up in Paranormal 3, and yeah, Caster can see Chara, and Caster knows who Chara is, and you're like, Chara, it's just been a long time. Yeah, and Chara's like, Caster, yeah. Yeah, then all three of them start seeing a portal open, and it kind of has multiple colors, and it kind of looks like a galaxy. Yeah, then yeah, and this scene knows other AUs as well, and he's like, "What the hell is this?" And yeah, pretty much Caster's like, "I don't know, but we're gonna find out." And then the portal finally opens fully, and yeah, then they see the great deity, which pretty much looks like pretty much has many, pretty much is made out of a universe. Basically, yeah, that's why his body looks like a universe. And yeah, Strangel's like, who are you? It's like, yeah, then this creature says, hello, San, Chara, Gaster. You may call me the great deity. I'm the one that has, and if you're wondering why who or what I am, I'm the creator of your world. Yeah, and Saren's like, what are you doing here, then what are you doing here, deity? It's like, I'm here to give you a second chance at life. Not in this world, but in another. Yeah, and Gaster's like, what do you mean, deity? He's like, I'm giving your son and Chara a second chance. And yet, they're like, really? It's like, yes. And I'm not, your world is not my only creation. I have made many worlds. So many that I can't even count anymore. And yeah, and Stearns is like, well, which world are we heading? Are you gonna send us to? It's like, it's a world where magic doesn't exist, so you would have an advantage. In Chara, you will still have your determination tool. But you'll have to. But if you would ever want to. And want you to become. When you two become part of this world, Chara, you will still have determination as your soul. And there are save points in this world. And both of you will be reincarnated. Will be reincarnated into two people. And yeah. Sans would be like, how many species is there in this world? It's like, there's only two. There's one called tailed beasts, and there's humans. And Sans were like, are they different from our humans? It's like, slightly, but some of them are still the same. Yeah, seems like, which human will I be will like reincarnate into. It's like of in the original timeline, he would have been a reincarnation of a person called Ashura. Oh wait, he would also say there is also an alien species called Ususuki. And yeah, then the great teacher would be like, and there's one major difference that you two will need to know. There is no magic in this world. There is something called chakra, which the species, one of the princess of the Ususuki ate a fruit that had chakra in it, which spread the chakra, which then she had children. And then it spread out throughout the. Then one of those children had had pretty much was the one that brought chakra to the humans. And yeah, Sandra's like, so what are these humans like? It's like, some of them are kind. The Ashura reincarnations are kind souls, while the interests are either vengeful or evil. Instantly. So, who will Karin be reincarnated into? It's like an Uzumaki named Karin. And you will be reincarnated into a different Uzumaki, Naruto Uzumaki. And these two people are not related. And yeah, then Strange were like, then why do they have the last names? Like, then he would tell them about clans. And yeah, then Sam's like, oh, so that's why. It's like, yes, Sam, sure. Now, Gaster. It's like, yes, deity. It's like, if you want to, I can make it so you can watch over both of your sons at the same time. And yeah, like, I would like that. Thank you. And then Sam's like, so, what are the conditions for this? It's like, when you become the reincarnation, once you reincarnate into Naruto Uzumaki, some of your personality will go to him. It's like, some? It's like, yes. Also, there is the souls of this world are in the Naruto universe. No, in the world of the ninja. Yeah, they also know this world is filled with ninjas that are called Shinobi. It's like, so which soul does this Naruto have? It's like, he has the soul of bravery. Yeah, it's just like, It's like, alright then. Sure, are you ready? Yeah, it's like, the great deity then says, then, oh, one thing for Chara. Chara, you will not be able to see sand for a while. And she's like, how long? It's like, at least until both of you are 12. Or possibly 14. And considering the situations that might happen. And yeah, she's like, okay then. And yeah, then the deity then says, then hop onto my hand. Yeah, then both of them hop into his hand. He's like, and Gaster, I give you this. And he taps Gaster on his forehead. And Gaster pretty much gets his original form. And Gaster's like, thank you, deity. He's like, you're welcome. Also, I've also given you the ability to see into this world. And he's like, thank you. He's like, you're welcome. And then then the portal closes with the deity, with Sansa Chara and the great deity's hands. And then the great deity's like, you two ready? It's like, yes. And then Sans says and then asks, great, like, deity, what will what will this Naruto have of me? He's like, first thing first, he will have your intelligence, and with your laziness in it, how hyper he was, he'll be between lazy and not lazy. And yeah, Sans will be like, alright then. You'll also gain your abilities. And since his soul is determination, your monster soul will slowly, both your soul and his soul will slowly become the soul that will one of the most powerful souls in that world. And Sans will be like, alrighty then, let's do it. And yeah, Chura's like, okay then, alright. And he was, Chara, I'm gonna give you, and Chara, before I let both of you go, Chara, I'm giving you an advantage. And like, what's that? It's like, I'm giving you magic. And she's like, it's like, oh, and seriously, you can do that? It's like, I created your world, I can do this. And yeah, like, fair enough. It's like, ooh, what am I getting? It's like, something that your soul represents the most. Yeah, and you would get knives. And yeah, and Sans like, alright then. And yeah, then you're like, hold on, Sans, I'm doing something for you as well. And yeah, then pretty much the great deity gives him the knowledge to pretty much gives him knowledge of pretty much makes him the pretty much gives him a pretty much makes it so he can use his powers to make weapons made out of bones. And Sans is like, thank you. It's like, you're welcome. Now, off you go. And then he pretty much picks up Sans, pretty much hovers him over at Naruto, and drops him. And Sans is like, ah! And then Chara's like, Sans! And then Great Deity's like, he'll be fine, Chara. Just be patient. Yeah, Chara's like, okay. And then he picks her up, and then hovers her over Karen, and goes like, farewell. And then he drops her there. And then both of their souls fall into Karin's body and Naruto's body. Sans being in Naruto and Chara being in Karin. So yeah. And it's gonna take 4 years for Sans and Naruto's souls to combine. And basically, by the end of it, yeah, basically, Naruto will have, basically, Naruto, by the time he's born, he'll have white hair and dark blue eyes. And yeah. And basically, the same thing happens. And then we get to when he's 4. And basically, when the souls finally combine, he gets Sans intelligence and powers. And yeah. And Sans is awakened. And Sans is like, oh, my head. Yeah. Yeah, Sans just sees, he's in a mindscape that looks like sewer, and it's like, this kid needs to. Yeah, then we skip to when he's asleep, and yeah, Sans like, just close Naruto into the mindscape. We actually know, by the time Naruto's, yeah, we skip a year later, and Naruto gone, pretty much the Great TD just opened a portal to, where Naruto is, and yeah, Naruto is just a person that doesn't do pranks. Oh, and in my opinion, Naruto is a god because first, basically, he's gonna be far more powerful than than he would ever be as a monster. So yeah, yes, Sans can dodge. Naruto can dodge for almost forever. So yeah, and he does have the karma thing that Sans has. So yeah. Oh, and basically, the Great Deity just makes a portal over Naruto, but Naruto doesn't see it. Then the Great Deity just pretty much puts a finger through it, and just touches Naruto's head. And basically, it just gives Naruto all the experience and knowledge. Like, basically, just all the memories of Sans. And yet, Naruto's like, my head. And then after a few seconds, he's like, ugh. So, yeah, and also he got the memories of what happened before Sans. Pretty much, Naruto got all the memories of what happened from, basically, the Great Deity gave Sans and Chara all the information of the Naruto universe. Yeah, so he's like, okay, so I'm a reincarnation of a skeleton that had magic powers. And he's like, cool. And yeah, then he's like, well, and then he checks out his soul, and he sees his soul, which is orange, and then he sees a soul that is upside down. He's like, oh, cool. And he sees it, and he thinks, wait a minute, the way my soul looks like. Wait a minute. I'm the reincarnation of Sans. And it looks like mine and his soul combined. That means we're stronger. And yeah, then he's like, wait a minute, can I? And then he thinks of, basically, Naruto just thinks of, basically, Naruto also knows that about the AUs, and he's seen the AU of Bravery Sans. So he's like, maybe I can. And then he imagines the gauntlets, and the gauntlets come on immediately. With that heart, pretty much the gauntlets look exactly the same as Ultra Sans. He's like, cool. He's like, cool. So I'm kind of like Ultra Sans. So I'm like Ultra Sans. Cool. And yeah, Ultra's like, wait a minute. And he looks on his back, and then he imagines and he casts a blaster on his back, and then he sees it, like, pretty much appear on his back. And he's like, awesome. And then he pretty much makes the caster blaster on his back, and the gauntlets disappear. It's like, okay, so. And he's like, maybe I can touch his hands. And he thinks, pretty much he just, and yeah, so since he's smart as Sans, he's gonna see, he's immediately gonna think, okay, I'm gonna meditate until I can go into my mind state. And he immediately does it. Oh, and he's in the forest, and he pretty much like, so he is gonna know quantum physics. Pretty much everything Sans knows. And yeah, it's like, okay, so quantum physics. And he just thinks of the forest that he likes to go to. And I'm gonna say this forest had a rock, a very high part, like a very high stone, pretty much a stone wall, which had pretty much a stone cylinder. And he just sat on it and meditated. And he went into his mind, and when he was in his mind, he just yelled, Sans! And Sans heard Naruto, and he just teleported to where he heard it and like just went like, "What's up, kid?" And Naruto like, "Hi, Sans." Yeah. Naruto like, then Sans were like, "Oh, what? How do you know my name?" And then like, I think the great deity gave me your memories. And then, like, oh, so that's what I felt. And like, yeah. So. And then Naruto like, so I wonder who this Karn Uzumaki looks like. Like, yeah, I wonder who. And yeah, Naruto like, so did the great yeah, Naruto yeah, he has it's a little bit clouded, but you can see that Sans kind of got knowledge that who Naruto's parents was. So he's like, so Sans, a little bit of my memories from you is clouded, but can you tell me what you know? And yeah, Sans would tell him what he sees is clouded in Naruto's mind. And Naruto like, okay, so my parents are Kushina and Minato. That's good. That's good to know. And Sans was like, alright, so you know we're gonna have to keep this secret, right? And it's like, yeah, the part where I'm the non-just jerky and the part where I'm the son of Kushina Uzumaki and Minato Namakate. It's like, good. It's like, so I was just like, he Sans, you know what the funny thing is? It's like, why is it, kid? He's like, we're like Ultra Sans. And then Sans is like, wait, what? It's like, just pulls out the, pretty much just summons the Collins and goes like, see? And Sans is like, oh my, just pretty much like, guess we are. And Sans like, that means we can do anything they could do. And then Sans is like, oh, cool. And yeah, Naruto's like, Hey Sans, you want to try something out? And he's like, what is it, kid? And he's like, I want to see if you can take over my body. And Sans like, oh, maybe I could. And Sans like, then Naruto's like, before we try that, what are we gonna do with the tail base? And he's like, just wait until he wakes up. And he's like, he's like, from my memories of you, he's more lazy than you. He's like, probably. Or maybe he's just too very sleepy. It's like, yeah, probably that. And Naruto then senses, and Sans, don't you feel that hate for him? It's like, yeah, I do. Huh. That must be from all the things that happened to him. It's like, yeah. Basically, Naruto and Sans, Sans did also learn it of all the Tail-Beast history. Pretty much. Yeah, Naruto knows it as well, too. Naruto's like, that's kind of sad. I don't know what happened with him and the others. It's like, yeah, but we're gonna have to deal with it. And it's like, yeah. And Naruto's like, So Sans. He's like, yeah, kid? He's like, how long do you think it'll take for us to find it? Karn and Char. Oh, yeah, Karn and Char. He's like, it's me. Oh yeah, then we do pretty much go to Karn and Char's perspective, and yeah, Karn isn't found by Orochimaru yet. Yeah, then the great deity just summons a portal right in front of Karn and just touches her head, which gives Karn all the memories of Chara. So yeah, Karn is asleep at that moment, and yeah, then the next morning, Karn is like, oh my head, and she now knows everything of Kara. So yeah, she'll know everything about her world. Again, so apparently I'm the reincarnation of someone from another world. That's weird. And yeah, Chara in her mind and Chara's just been a week for this time and just been waiting for it to finally figure it out. And Chara's like, just says in her mind, it's like, finally you figured it out. Finally that happened. And then Karen's like, ah, what the heck? And they're like, calm down and get into your mindscape already. And yeah, Karen would do that, and then she would see Chara and Chara would just wave at her and be like, hello. Yeah, Karen's mindscape is a field of flowers. Just gonna say that. Just a field of flowers. And Karen's like, hello, Chara. And yeah. And she would also know that Karen would also know that Chara's friend is the reincarnation, well, it was reincarnated into Naruto, whoever that is. And she'd be like, I wonder who this Naruto looks like. And yeah, Karen's like, you'll find out. And yeah, Chara's like, also. Then Chara's like, I wonder. And then she pretty much pulls out Karen's soul, which technically also pulls her soul out at the same time. Which, technically, both our souls are one. And Karen's like, what the heck? And it's like, oh, her soul. And Naruto, then Chara's like, that's new. So, yeah, then now then we're gonna skip to when Naruto goes to, and Naruto doesn't save Hinata at all, so Hinata has no crush. So yeah, and basically Naruto goes to the academy, no pranks, remember that. And he's pretty much gonna be the smartest, because in my opinion, Sans is smarter than Shikamaru. Pretty much basically Sans, in my opinion, Sans is smarter than Shikamaru at the 4th Great Ninja War. So yeah, Naruto has Sans. Yeah, basically, Naruto's intelligence is technically at 40 out of 20, with Shikamaru being at 20. Well, in the Naruto terms, he's a 40 out of 20, but in the Undertale world, he's a 40 out of 40. Oh, and his Genjutsu is a 2. No, it would be a 6, apparently. So it would be 6. His Taijutsu, 10. Ninjutsu, 13. Shotgun control, 13. Steals, 13. Genjutsu, 7. And yeah, that would be it. Yeah, by the time Naruto did go to the academy, he would have Wind and Fire. Yeah, then we're gonna skip to when Naruto was 12. Yeah, and Karen / Chara are pretty much heading towards the Leaf, or halfway to the Leaf Village. And yeah, that's just when Naruto, basically, okay, yeah, Sans Naruto. Okay, yeah, Sans / Naruto are at the border of are pretty much outside the Leaf Village walls, looking for Karen and basically Chara. Well, Karen slash Chara. Naruto pretty much senses Chara, and Naruto be like, isn't that, like, yeah, that's her. And then Naruto would just teleport straight to Karen, and yeah. Yeah, then when Karen sees Naruto, and Naruto sees Karen, Naruto just, Karen, basically, Naruto and Karen do have some, Karen also does have some of Chara's personality. So yeah, she would be kind. A kind and caring person. But she would also be strong. I guess, yeah. Yeah, then basically they would just hug each other. Yeah, they are the reincarnation of Chara and Naruto, of Chara and Sans. So yeah, and Naruto was like, you must be Karen, and Karen was like, you must be Naruto. I was like, yeah, Naruto was like, yeah, so, what now? She was like, it's me. Yeah, then Naruto was like, first how about you become a leaf shinobi, and, well, a leaf villager, and yeah, she was like, that's what I was gonna do, yeah, and he was like, perfect, and then he just teleports to pretty much teleports to where he was, which wasn't that far from the leaf walls, but was somewhere where no one was looking. And yeah, Naruto's mastered all of his powers. And he can also willingly go to that full power mode, which basically makes him completely orange. So yeah, Naruto's like, okay, I'll meet you inside the leaf walls. You'll go to the front of the gates. And she'll be like, okay, and yeah, basically, they just ask, who goes there? And they see Karen, and yeah, Karen asks you, just says, I want to join this village. And yeah. Basically, they let her in. And then then she goes to the Hokage, then she sees Naruto, and she's like, ah, hey, where? It's like, yeah, here, let me guide you to the Hokage's office. And she's like, okay, then. Then he's walking with Naruto, and yeah. I'm just gonna say, Kara forgot to say that Naruto is a Jinchuriki. Yeah, actually no, they didn't know that Naruto is a Jinchuriki in the very beginning. So, Charles was like, why didn't that deity tell us when she finds out? Yeah, then Naruto's like, yeah, when Karen sees all the stares that Naruto's getting, she sees that it's hateful. Yeah, but soon, then Naruto just does that. Skip pretty much just does a death glare at everybody when they're staring at him. Actually, no, he doesn't do it because he hasn't done it. He hasn't done it, but he'll only do it when he starts becoming a shinobi. And yeah, Naruto's like, then they get to the Hokage's office. Yeah, then the person that allows people to go to the Hokage as what are you doing here? And it's like, I was helping someone get to the, I was helping someone just enter the village to the Hokage. And yeah, she's like, go ahead. And yeah. And they get to the Hokage's office, and then the Hokage be like, Naruto, what you doing here? It's like, so I think this person wants to join this village. And yet, like, oh, who is it? And then Karin comes into the room, and she's like, hi. And yeah, she's a little bit shy, because this is the third Hokage. And yeah, then we're gonna go to like a week later, and yeah, the papers are all set, and her Hokage says she is that there's no other apartments or houses available. So then Hokage goes like, forgive me, Garden, but we don't have any apartments or houses available apparently. Arthur's like, she could stay with me until she can choose to stay in my apartment until she finds another apartment or house to go to, or just wants to stay with me. And yet the second Hokage, Harusan goes like, are you alright with that, Are you alright with that, young lady? And he's like, I'm fine with that. And yet then he just does that and sends the papers to where Karin just lives with Naruto for a while. Well, temporarily, unless she chooses for it to be permanent. So yeah. Then Naruto shows her his house, and yeah, since Naruto ain't lazy, he cleans, and it's perfectly clean. To the point where it's just sparkles. So yeah. She's like, wow, you do a really good job. Yeah. He's like, thanks. I tried my best. Yeah. Karen's like, so, do you know why they were giving you those hateful glares? He's like, yeah. And Naruto's like, so, yeah, and Sans is able to take control of Naruto's body. And and Naruto didn't exactly get the actual experience. Like, he's not completely able to dodge completely. Like, he's not perfectly able to dodge. So, like, if there's a attack that he can't completely dodge, Sans takes over and dodges for him. And then he gives the control back to Naruto. That's basically what Sans does to help Naruto. Yeah, and Sans did tell him that they're both able to make weapons now. And yeah, Karin knows that Char is now able to make. Is now. Oh, and the soul. Basically, her soul chose her magic, which. Her magic is basically knives. Regular knives? Yeah, basically, knives made out of magic. Knives that you have to just move through to not get hurt, and knives you have to stay still to not get hurt. So yeah, Naruto's like, so. Then Naruto's like, so. Is it possible? Yeah, and Karin has figured out that Chara can take control of her body. And Naruto's like, so. You want to have our reincarnations, our previous lives take over for a little bit? And yeah, she's like, sure. And yeah, then they take over. And yeah, they start talking, and Chara was like, so. How's your reincarnation's life been? And yeah, he's like, apparently he's a Jinchuriki. And she'd be like, what? Why didn't the deity tell us that? And he's like, beats me. And yeah, Stan's like, hey, at least we hey, at least our we found ourselves again, found each other again. It's like, yeah, at least that, and yeah, Char and Sans do have a crush on each other. For Sans, it's small, but for Char, it's medium. Like it's like half. It's not crazy big, but it's enough where Char can actually tell she has a crush on him. But Sans can't tell that he has a crush on her. But after a while, he's gonna see himself having a crush on her. But actually, no. Both of them actually now know that they have a crush on each other. And Sans can see that Naruto has a crush on Karin. Well, actually, we'll see that he has a crush on Karin after a few months. Yeah, Karin will have the same thing towards Naruto. And yeah, then we skip to when Naruto was 14. And Karin and Naruto are pretty much. Naruto is a pretty good cook because he just has to cook, and yet Naruto doesn't always eat ramen. He only eats ramen once a month. So yeah, everything else he cooks himself. So he's pretty good at cooking. And Karin's the same thing. So yeah, and basically Naruto's making it look like he's below average. But then on the last day, and Karin's just making it look like just holding herself back. She's just holding herself back. Yeah, she can. And pretty much Sakura can't compete with battle strategies and skill. Yeah, Karin and Naruto have her beat easily. Oh, and with Naruto can easily beat anyone in the academy. It's like child's play to them. Oh, and when he faces in the pretty much Naruto's skill with magic is pretty much his skill level, his experience and skills are at Kakashi's level. So yeah. Oh, and when Sans takes over, Naruto's eyes turns gray. Just turn gray when Sans is taken over. And when Char takes over Karin's body, Karin's eyes turn red. So yeah, that's how I'm gonna have it. And yeah, basically Basic Universe's ninja test basically has it so you're gonna have to have at least one ninjutsu, which Sakura doesn't, so she ain't gonna pass. So yeah, basically the Team 7 is and when we get to Mizuki, yeah, Naruto just passes easily. Just with Karin gets second place. And Naruto just gets first place easily. Pretty much he just gets done in 1 minute. So yeah. Yeah, basically, technically Naruto is gonna know every win in Fire Jutsu. And when Mitsuki tries to trick Naruto, he just fails at that. And he even tried Karin, and he failed as well at that. And Naruto's like, Hey, Sans. Like, yeah, okay? It's like, do you guys think we should? It's like, nah, someone else will do it. It's like, alright then. Yeah. Then we get to the team assignments, assessments, or something like that. And yeah, Team 7 is Naruto, Sasuke, and Karin. And yeah, Karin doesn't look at Sasuke at all for love. Because yeah, she ain't like that. And yeah, pretty much. Yeah, she has all the skills that she has in the original and more. So yeah, she can. And yeah, Naruto's chakra is just pure. It's just pure. While there's only. When we. Yeah, and when she looks at Kurama, yeah, she does see it, but she doesn't mind. And basically, yeah, Naruto just smiles when he hears Karin's name. And yeah, she smiles as well. Oh, and Naruto can smile like Sans. And yeah, when Naruto does his creepy face, it basically his eyes basically completely turn just yeah, the outside of his pupil is white. But then when he does his creepy face, actually no, when he uses his magic, well, actually no, now outside of his pretty much outside his pupil, it's all black. So yeah, basically everything but his pupils are black. And his eyes. So yeah, when he says his creepy face, his pupils will disappear. Yeah, then in it, Karin and Naruto have been trained together for just to see what you see the Naruto. Yeah, basically Sans is basically gonna teach. Yeah, Naruto's basically gonna teach himself Rasengan in the Flying Raijin once he passes this test, the bell test. Oh, and when Kakashi sees Naruto sees Naruto, it's like, yeah, then he's like, alright, yeah, on the roof, and yeah. Naruto and Karin Naruto can just either teleport or basically, when Kakashi sees Naruto disappear in an orange light, he's like, is that body flicker? Actually, no, he just sees him disappear, he's like, is that body flicker? Yeah, and he just sees Karin just run off. Yeah, when he gets to the roof, he sees Naruto just sitting on a tree, and with Karin just sitting right beside him. And yeah, who just asked for them to get down? And yeah, Naruto's like, alright, and yeah, you just have Karin get onto his back, and then he'll just drop down. And then he would let Karin down and be like, there you go, and yeah. Then he would just sit down with Karin, and yeah. Then Sasuke would get there. But yeah, Sasuke would say the same thing. And then Karin would say, my goals, well, my likes. hanging out with Naruto. My dislikes. Don't have that many. And yeah, my goal. Be the best community I can be. Yeah, then Naruto's goal is like my likes, hanging out with Karin in training. Oh yeah, Karin also says training. Then Naruto's like says my dislikes. People that hate someone for no reason. My goal is to become the strongest shinobi I can be. And yeah, so Kakashi's like, all right, sorry about that. And this is where I'm gonna end this. And then Kakashi says, all right, tomorrow go to the training grounds 7, and whatever you do, don't eat or you'll puke. And yeah, Karin and Naruto eats. Then we get to the next day, and then we talked about the bell test. And that's where I'm gonna end it off for now. Anyway, if you like this, like, subscribe, and comment for more. And tell me what you think of this idea. Do you like it? Or no? Either way, I'm still gonna do it. Because I like it. Anyway, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.